everybody stand, we get started. Maybe we should pray.
May we pray tonight. Heavenly Father, most of all tonight, I want to thank all the praying people who prayed for my wife during her battle with cancer. She finished up her last treatment and got the ring the bell yesterday, and we give you all the glory and all the praise for that tonight. Lord, we also pray for Brother Mitch Johnson tonight. He's sick in body. He's burning up with fever and has the flu. And we just ask that the Holy Spirit would go that way and touch his body tonight. Lord, bless each and also Mr. Ellenberg's dad that had open heart surgery today. We pray for a fast recovery. Lord, bless this meeting tonight. Bless the constituents that's here to hear everything that the county is doing good. Lord, just bless them also. Bless the elected officials that you put in these prestige positions to do thy perfect will. In Jesus' name we pray, and the church people said, Amen. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. Also, a couple of things. I'd like to welcome our new commissioner, Mr. Ellenberg. Mr. Ellenberg now. Thank you. Would I say anything?
Welcome in. I ain't been in but a few weeks. We got a lot of catching up to do, a lot of ground to cover, but I know each and every one of you, and for an ongoing relationship. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we got a birthday in the house tonight. Eric's birthday today. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. I think we got some out there in the audience. I think Jason Powell has a birthday too. So
Happy birthday, Jason.
I'm not the only one that feels 1 year older.
Jason, you ain't able to see it.
No, he's older than mine.
Well, happy birthday, both y'all.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and get started. On the first item, adopt the agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions?
Mr. Chairman, I got a call today from Mr. on the board, and he's willing to give us some right away on Smith Chapel in River Lewis. You don't mind any talk about that, please?
I'll go ahead and
The commissioner out of
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Grover Lewis and
Smith Chapel.
Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to remove under agenda items pending VFD, volunteer fire department truck repairs. I think they pretty much almost got that taken care of. Just about, they're still within the prices. Let's, on the commissioner items, our first item I'd like to remediate also. There's some other things that needs to be looked into before I move into that. Didn't get it in time. And same thing with the the third item, discussion purchase tubing brush cutters. Surplus old equipment, I have not got the prices or estimates on receipt for the old equipment yet, so I'm just going to scratch that off the agenda. That's all I have.
Attorney, I have 3 or 4 things. One of them is the Chitlina release, 1923 Nottingham Road, our Scott, and bad striping, 2 roadways. This will be under Mr. Ellenberg, and Liberty Insurance Company, which will be under James. Does anybody else have any?
So are these all under commissioner items?
Well, James can take care of this one.
Under agenda items?
Yeah. Anything else? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Have a motion to hear a second?
Second.
Have a motion to second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. I to go down to the adopt the previous minutes. This is the regular session, December 2nd, 2025. Your motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion to second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Non-agenda audience, Adrian Chet. Just state your name, Ms. Chapman, if you don't mind.
Adrian Chapman. I live in Cottonwood Lakes area. Clint Erickson is my commissioner. I'm not here to ask about the repairs. I've spent the better part of the last 3 days educating myself. But I did want to ask a question with reference to the MSBU that was proposed at one point. Is that still under consideration, or has that been tabled and taken off?
Which one?
Yeah, well, not by me, I'm ready to put it to bed, ready to the Commissioner's yard.
The
We didn't
SBU?
have, at the meeting, we didn't have the support for the MSBU.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
off too. And just one other thing I'd like to add is someone that's new to the community, or new the second time to the community, is like, about the MSBU discussions and a lot of other things, we're getting it second and third hand. And I'm not sure where we can find out these questions. You know, I had a neighbor down the road come up and show me a post that had been found on Facebook about coming and having a discussion about MSBU, and I just think it could help tremendously if there was more clear communication and not telephone. It feels like one person tells one person, he tells one person, and it turns into a thing that is absolutely not. So I would just like to add that, and thank you for the answer. And that will be in the meeting minutes, right, that it has for sure been pulled. Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, we go down to Mr. Richard Wilson.
Good evening, Commissioners. Richard Wilson. Welcome to the board, Mr. Ellenberg.
Thanks, sir.
In the last meeting, there was discussion about the meeting times and changing the meeting times due to overtime hours for hourly staff that's given the meetings. You know when these meetings are every month. You got 2 weeks time frame to flex off those hours. I don't see where, coming from a business standpoint, that it would be that difficult to calculate and pre-plan those overtime hours to be offset to keep the meeting times right where they are. I mean, you guys are elected by the public, you're here to serve the public, and you have more people at the evening meetings than you have at the morning meetings. That's a fact. But I think it would be a huge disservice to the community if you changed the meeting times to all days. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is there's also discussion about the resign to run. Now, I agree that a person shouldn't necessarily be penalized to try to better themselves. But sometimes you have to sacrifice as an individual when you want to make advancements. I mean, I've done that many, many times while I was working and throughout my career, where I had to make personal sacrifice in order to gain a better position, a better job, better pay. That's a given in the business world. So I certainly hope that this idea of changing the rules on resign to run is taken off the table and left as is, because you've already had people that's been forced to resign in order to run, and they did it because that was the rule. And that would be a disservice to those that have had to resign in order to run for an office. In hindsight, okay? It doesn't make it right. Let's change it now. And you know what they say, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 less do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Dolan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I wanted to get this on the agenda and all, but I missed the when else had it. But it's coming in tonight, and I'll update on our station, PDO Fire Department. We actually will be going to the City Council at this upcoming meeting with the 100% design phase plans for their approval. So what I'm coming to y'all tonight is bringing back up where last year when we come to you asking for assistance with the site work and some of the preparing for it, asking for that help now. For part of it for the land clearing of the station, the property right next to us that the city owns, that'll be where our parking lot and a lot of the stormwater is at. And then basically from what we're seeing, the big support we're going to need will be like dirt brought in and stuff like that, and all that we'll be asking for y'all's help and all the site work. Thing right now, all that I'm asking is to see if y'all will be able to help us with that land clearing, bring in an excavator and a dump truck or something, either let let's use it for a weekend, or, you know, you got somebody, you know, that you can send over there and all help for that stuff for us. That'd be a big help for us.
Everything probably, I'd like to see the plans, to see what we get into.
It's, we will have the 100% design plans, I think the 15th is the city's meeting, that's when Mike and Dave will actually have those completely to us. The civil work is all done, so yeah, I can kind of walk around and show you what kind of pretty much plans are. I've got preliminary plans already, that I can pull up on my phone and I'll show you afterwards. I don't have a paper map of it right now, but, you know, that's what we're looking for. I know before y'all had said y'all help us, we never got a vote on anything, and also that's kind of what I was.
Mr. Earl, I don't think there's a problem with that. The only thing I would like to see, like Mr. Stafford has said here, maybe a set of plans, and maybe just, since it's gonna run to the city council meeting on the 15th, just do a request from them to the board, for a mutual aid agreement or something, so we could set something up that's gonna be in place.
Yeah, because we've already talked to them
Yeah.
and all about coming to y'all, and we just wanted to kind of go ahead and get things moving, so that as soon as they approved it, that we could try to get this going just as quick as possible, and not delay us anymore. So that's why
I'd like to see us do it during the week so we can approve it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And, the other part would just be good with David and Commissioner Stafford.
all right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I will go down to the agenda items, awards, agreement, and resolution number 602, Jack Johnson Lane, over Bridgewood Creek Bridge.
Good evening, Commissioners. I would like to request approval of an FDOT VSCOP for this bridge in Holmes County. They're awarding us approximately $95,700 to make a repair to the Jack Johnson Bridge.
Motion for the chairman to sign.
I have a motion for the chairman to sign. Here a second.
I second it very quick. Who's gonna be engineering this, Jane? Have we picked the engineer yet?
So it's Dewberry's turn in this cycle to do the design work.
Okay. Yes, second.
All right, have a motion to second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, donate partial, using tax positions.
It's Judy, she's here. I saw.
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening, how are you? Danielle Zeman. Reason I would have a surplus piece of property, and it's on Dogwood Lakes. You guys own the lakes, you own a couple of adjoining pieces. I wanted to see if you would benefit from the donation of said property.
I know I talked to you about it, I know it was I know, first of all, I saw some posts on your intention was maybe sell it and go back to the restoring
And
the
get the
lake.
proceeds designated towards that purpose, but there just wasn't any interest by people who lived within the lake.
Okay.
So it would be up to the board to decide if you wanted to go ahead with the donation, or if you wanted me to see if I could do, private party public marketing, so to speak, through a realtor, and then donate the funds that way.
I think, me personally, I think it probably would, this is great, this is a good thing you're doing, but I think going to the public sector, trying to go for a realtor, pushing it out that way, minus all the expenses on your part, if that's what you want to do, I think that probably works a little bit better. What do you think, Nate, as an attorney versus going through the county process of bidding it out and all that?
It'd be a lot cleaner if you sort of outside, if you want to donate the proceeds.
Okay, would you be interested in revisiting it at a later date and say 120 days if the property hasn't been moved? Would you want to revisit the issue at that point? Should it be marketed and not
We
sold?
could.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
We could look at it from there.
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for your donation.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have here, HCDC appointments, Commissioner. All right, if you could, do them one at a time for the record.
Okay. First one is,
Yeah, just all that, but you can just.
first one is Jeremy Rowland, and then the second one is Brady Gilmore.
They'll just do them one at a time, yeah. You want to make a motion to appoint Jeremy Rowland?
Yes, and then I have a second one.
Oh, yeah, you'll do that, yeah. I'll have a motion on the floor to appoint Jeremy Rowland, do I hear a second? All right. Have a motion and a second, any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 No. All right, we'll go with the second. Okay.
Brady Gilmore.
All right, have a motion to appoint Brady Gilmore.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second, any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right,
And
and,
I have one more, we had a member at large, and I talked to Ms. Judy, she's somewhere here, there she is. I talked to Ms. Powell about it. What happened was she was in the district, and I think due to some place where her house was, she was moved out of the district at some point, was a member at large, was in District 3, and moved back out of that district when she was building that house. Am I correct on that, David? On how that happened? So, since we already have a member at large already open, I want to make a motion to move her back into that member at large. I think it was Ms. Cloud that was in there at that point, and she is no longer in that position. So I just put her back in the existing seat that she was in.
Second.
you put it in the form.
That's
All right, have a motion and a second, any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Mr. Chairman, we need them three appointees to come in our office so we can get back on that motion.
I just want to say one thing too, while we're on that, I think there's one more appointment in District 3, the one that Ms. Powell is vacating, which Mr. Johnson is not here tonight, so.
He said he'd be back.
He said he'd have it ready for the next one.
Okay, that's a good point.
And Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to reappoint Johnny Sutton.
Have a motion on the floor to reappoint Johnny Sutton.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right.
Just be sure if y'all don't mind to get over two appointees and tell them to come in our office if they're.
By Thursday or?
Anytime. Okay, Tuesday.
They need a license or?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we'll go to the next item, which is the FAC legislation date.
And that was supposed to have been, and I asked Ms. Jane to put on, that's supposed to have been rural county dates. Yeah, well, they're both going on at the same time. I was going to ask Mr. Kim to come up and speak on that since there are lobbyists, of course, in Tallahassee.
Yeah, no, we were excited to see the item on the agenda this evening. If y'all are considering coming over to Tallahassee in about 2 weeks. The legislative session officially kicks off a week from today. I was talking to Commissioner Harrison today. We feel like if there was ever a session that y'all needed to be in Tallahassee and amplifying your voice, this is probably it. Between the big discussion around property taxes right now, coupled with a chance for the rural renaissance legislation to be passed, that would be a big win for rural counties and communities. We would encourage y'all, if you can, to come to Tallahassee. I think there was two different events on that same day. I think it was a schedule conflict between the Florida Association of Counties and the Rural County Days that are sponsored by FREA, the Florida Rural Economic Development Association, which we proudly sponsor a lot of their events. We think that there's a lot of value in their meetings. They had their annual summit down at the Rural Western Center of Ocala late last year, had Governor DeSantis there to speak to them. So we reached out to their director today. He confirmed that there's over 430 people registered to come to the reception that Thursday evening at the University Center there at Doak County Stadium. And then the following day on the 22nd, they've got a lot of events scheduled as well, including a Rural County Expo there in the Capitol Courtyard. I think it's a great opportunity.
So you recommend that we come in on the 20th, be there on the 20th, be there for the morning of the 21st?
I come in on the 21st. Y'all can check in before the reception that evening. Stay the night of the 21st, and then I'll be there on the 22nd to also hold meetings with your local delegation of the key stakeholders.
So my thought about this initially, we've done this several times. Is just do that drive instead of staying the night. But the problem with that is parking is so bad you can't get a place to park. Absolutely.
And like, I want
I
to
think the reception runs from like 6 to 8 that evening too.
I know. One thing I want to emphasize is what Tim had said right here. You know, we typically try to go to these, but we always don't because of money and certain things. But the time we're in right now, especially with our legislators, and we're looking at property tax being eliminated or partial eliminated or whatever is going to happen, it's going to have a huge impact on our budget as commissioners and as the county as a whole. And I think it'd be very beneficial to be there. I'm going to try to go either way. That's the reason why I put it on the agenda. I don't know how many of you you would like to go, Mr. Stafford. Would you like to go? Mr. Yeah, I'm going to address that issue in just a minute. So, we've got how many of us?
There'll be 4 of us, but I David and, yeah.
Probably bad.
I think we just go ahead and
Do 6.
go ahead and another issue I have, Jane, is tomorrow we can try to book a room for a thing. I don't know if there's anything available there, especially right there in Tallahassee. Might have to get something closer to the stadium.
In my former position, I booked it in September.
Yeah.
That's the then.
So we might be staying a little closer to the stadium.
We're happy to work with Johnny on it.
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and do that and pull the funds from board contingencies.
All right, have a motion on the floor? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 I can just get up a count.
Yeah, just get up the count. Figure.
All right. Next item, award for emergency management and disaster response services. That's on tab 5.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Y'all remember we put out 2 RFPs, RFP 25-57 for emergency management services and disaster response services, which is our RFP 25-58. There was a selection committee that was put together that opened them. They also scored them through the tabulation sheets that you have in front of you. On the first one, the emergency management services, there were 3 bidders: Wheeler Emergency Management, Kent Smith Group, and Metro Consulting. On the RFP 2558 disaster response services, there were 5: B&J Enterprises, Series Environmental Services, Bergeron Emergency Services, Dynamic Group, and DRC. And B&J Enterprises was disqualified from a conflict of interest standpoint when reviewing the packet. Just wanted to remind y'all, this is just a recommendation from the committee that y'all put together and scored. You have the ability to choose any of the candidates. This is just a recommendation from the assigned committee. To refresh everyone's memory, the scores were based off of 5 different qualifications. 5 evaluation criteria. 1 was qualifications of proposal. The second was proposed staff qualifications and experience. Third was their unique project approach on how they worked with previous projects. 4 was references. And lastly was consultancy. So there was a weighted scale, and this is what the committee had come up with. So the high score on the RFP 25-57 was Metro Consulting with a total of 250 points. On RFP 25-58, the high score was DRC with a total score of 245. So the next steps would be discussion, of course, but we would need a vote, and then we would need to enter into a contract for the winner. That would be approved through FM. With all the documents have been reviewed by FM, and the contract would also be reviewed by FM, which we have a rough draft in place.
All right. Before we got any discussion on this?
if the board goes with metric, I think I got a brother-in-law that works with metric. So if we do go with metric, I'm not gonna vote on it. And I think, I'm just about 100% sure he works with metric, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I just don't want that to come back and haunt me. So,
And we need to table that till next time, right?
Not sure if we would have a forum, but y'all can table if y'all want to. I mean, it's up to y'all. I mean, y'all, we can vote in another meeting, we can.
it's a shame we couldn't get a local when we get some.
So, I'm sorry, I'm sitting with here now. Son-in-law.
So, brother-in-law.
Well, I just want to say this, when you say local, when I was commissioner, I know these companies maybe are not based locally, but they employ a lot of local individuals.
They did.
So,
We'll just make sure they got home county.
Before we take action on this,
You
good with,
Well, I'm good with wherever the board goes with. I'm good. I don't feel comfortable voting on metric. I don't. Just because of that. So,
If you're saying, we'll get you a form, 8B.
and I'm not 100% sure, Nate. I just don't want that to come back home. So,
well, I'm just gonna say this, and this thing has been kicked down the road so much, I'm kind of tired of it personally. But in order to make sure we're 100%, and like Commissioner Ellenberg said down there at the end, I think Mitch should have a part of this since he is one of the 5 commissioners and it's gonna be affecting his district. I think we should table it put it on the agenda for the next meeting. And like I said, I hate doing
yeah,
that.
I could find that.
Yeah, I hate doing that, but I think it needs to be done in this case.
Because Earl would be in the same boat.
That'd be my motion.
I have a motion on the floor to table this to the next meeting. Do I hear a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. We'll go down to this was, DRC was the lowest on the RFP 2558. I mean, it was the highest rank.
Yeah, I
Any
would,
discussion?
I would go back to what I said again with, the commissioner for District 3 being here. I think he needs to have something to say on this.
Right. You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to table this item also.
Have a motion on the floor to table this item, RFP 2558. Do you hear a second? Second. All right. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. All righty. We'll go on that. James, before I could get on, did you want to go ahead and talk about this on the insurance?
Yeah, I have 3 things on that.
All right, go ahead and go ahead with what you have.
Okay, so the first item that I needed to add was a shift lien release. It was an old lien that the county had put on a property at 1923 Nottingham Road, and that lien has been satisfied now. It was from 2001, and we just need to release that so the home can be put up for market.
All right, do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a motion? Do you have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right.
Also, I wanted to let you know that Scott, VSCOP, and SIGP applications are now open. They opened December 16th. So if you have any projects that you'd like to be considered for that DOT funding, we need to discuss it and maybe get with some of our engineering firms to help draft proposals or applications for us. There were some ideas that I put on there that were not funded last year, and any additional roadways or bridges or anything like that that you, I also put in the packet what each program was for, what the Scott scrap that stood for, and what roads would be eligible for those for y'all to review.
We already had it designed on those.
So if you want to come back within the next couple meetings and maybe put some proposals together, we would need resolutions probably, and and the permission to move forward with our engineering firms to apply for this project.
There's a deadline on the date on that. What is that deadline?
So the applications close on March 26th, and they have to be done through the GAP portal, FDOT's portal.
So if you change anything, we gotta get it designed.
So, I'm just gonna say this, County Road 179, north of Caryville, right there, we've been approved for the second phase for File Drive, north.
Correct, this is requesting a third phase.
Well, where's that third phase? Because I thought the second phase finalizes that.
It's still good, I'm good, good job.
Yeah.
The second phase you got to file. The preliminary engineering starts 27, I think, it'll take it from file up to Anderson Road. And then construction's only going from file to, Acre Drive.
Where's that?
It's in both y'all jurisdictions.
I thought it went all the way up to,
It did on these.
I think the Bonifay too, but paving Scott too, phase 2 Scott, I think that's a no-brainer. I know we talked about that. I think the engineering's already been done on that, am I correct? So, all that is for the EOT. Yeah, I think.
So it's my understanding the design has been, funded and complete, phase 1 has been funded, and this will be for the phase 2.
What you got, so everybody in there understands, once the county's got it phased up to the Holmes County line, we got the first 2 miles, and there's a gap. That'll fill in the gap, and then you've got to cut through it for emergency purposes or whatever.
And I see striping down, where is that gonna fall under?
Wade's gonna bring that up.
Oh, okay, I thought it was on the same one.
That's a different issue.
Okay,
Can we add to this list, Jamie?
Absolutely, this is just for your recommendation
There's just
consideration,
two. We got about 1.7 miles of line road. It's falling apart. We definitely got to address the line road.
But don't we only get one stop?
so you get 2 stop, 2 scrap per cycle.
If they get
Just because we apply doesn't mean we'll be given the plan.
Don't we have to score these roads before we put them on there?
We do rank them, that's correct.
So
We've
they
already
need-
ranked them.
I guess what I'm trying to say, we can probably go ahead and throw it out there tonight, that way we can go ahead and have the rank to come back and make sure that we can do the ranking.
Or at least by next meeting on the 20th, we probably need to have a good
think
idea of
about
what
it,
the priorities
by next meeting for sure.
Yeah, I would just do that.
Is that per district or all?
The whole thing.
Howard County.
Only get 2 for, 2 repaving, and 2 paving over there, that's scrap stop and solder, but it's 2 for the whole county.
The commissioners kind of swap it out, like if you get one last cycle.
Yeah. But, also it's a need too, you don't want a road that's completely falling apart, you just give it to go through the cycle.
But everybody's kind of lose. Bad.
I want to say, did we get that funded with the 185 this year?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's complete.
Unless we can get it picked up now, 179, I'm gonna start till 2030.
If there is a drop off, somebody drops their funding, there's a good chance you can get it.
So I think we need to work on it and move that up.
We do some
Maybe that'll be a good discussion on the 20th, 23rd.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just, the more I want to just bring up, if you got any extra, bring it up next meeting.
Yeah, the only road I really want to talk about is 177A, just for the sheer fact that I've had a lot of complaints from businesses. The road is in bad shape, if you really sit back and look at it. How bad, I don't know. I'd like to score it compared to everything else and just see where it's at. Got a lot of phone calls on 173 too, believe it or not. Honestly, going up to Highway 2, I want to.
Just know that if it's a large expanse of road, that it'll likely be broken into phases,
Yeah,
so it may take several years to get.
Yeah, we usually just get our engineer to write it, and tell us what we need to do.
All right. You want to go ahead and raise the insurance right here?
Okay, and then, this week I was approached by a local insurance company. They offer, additional benefits that aren't, typically covered under our county healthcare plan. We offer dental vision and health insurance. So this would be a supplemental type of insurance that during open enrollment, any of our county participants could visit them as well. Usually we have like an Aflac representative set up here in the boardroom for them to visit. This would just be another vendor that the county wouldn't administer the plan or anything like that. It would just be an additional offering to our employees, and they wanted to see if they could come to us during open enrollment this August and present their products to our employees.
Our insurance committee didn't have time to meet, so we did well.
That's what I was gonna ask the next question.
We didn't have time to meet them.
So it just needs approval for them to be able to come and offer what they have.
Would that be your recommendation?
I would need a recommendation from the board and a signature from them.
That's right. The insurance committee can meet, make a recommendation, then just wait till next week.
I guess what I'm worried about is there's a competitive insurance person on the already doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you would go to your insurance for a person to make sure that.
That's who life insurance.
That's what I'm saying.
We have standard life and
I think the insurance.
I could set up the insurance committee and take them.
You got anything else? Sure.
No, sir. Did y'all have any other questions for me?
Does the board have any questions? All right. Thank you. All righty, we'll go down. Deputy,
I would like to do something here. I want to recognize somebody, if it may, Mr. Chair.
yes.
Erin Todd has been with us, done a great job. She's going down another path, and she turned her resignation in, and we reluctantly accepted it. But we wish her all the best. I'd like to give her a hand for Good luck.
Bill Fisher planning, we didn't have anything for that. Kim, did you have anything?
Just a few things that I wanted to touch on with just the legislative session beginning a week from today. We're working on your two appropriation requests. They relate to the jail expansion as well as the emergency equipment. So working with the delegation, Representative Abbott and Senator Trumbull on those, getting those prepared and submitted. Just a quick update, the final phase of the Government Efficiency Center is well underway in the EMS building, and I'm working closely with the sheriff on that. So we'll get the metal building in pretty soon, and a lot of the other components of that are coming together nicely. We wanted to bring something to your attention as we work on this project, and that's an issue. You remember you recently selected a company to perform construction management services over the project, and they went and pulled the required permits, from the county building inspector's office, and now is now must wait for reimbursement. As you know, this is a reimbursement process around this particular project, since it's state funds from the Department of Economic Opportunity. So we wanted to bring that to your attention. I know that y'all discussed that in the past, permit fees and stuff as they relate to projects that are county related. But I don't know if the sheriff has anything he wants to add specifically about this particular example, but like I said, just wanted to bring that to your attention, and then if there's any further discussion related to it.
My only thing is when we selected this company, he's done the county a huge favor. Basically, he's overseeing the project, allowing us to do a lot of the work, which will save a lot of taxpayers' dollars. And when he went full permit, and he's not driving, but he brought it to my head. It's been over probably about a month and a half. When he went full permit, he had to pay for the permit out of his own pocket, and it was like $2,600. And I just want to try to get him reimbursed his money. I mean, I understand if we got to pay a permit, that's fine, that's not a problem. But I don't think it's his responsibility for a county project to take the money out of his own pocket in order to buy the permit for something that we're building our own building. That's my gripe with it. And I believe the plumber and the electrician has done the same thing. And it puts a bad taste in to me, it would mean, you know, if I'm doing a service for the county, trying to help the county out and save money, and then you ask me to pull out $2,600 out of my own money to buy a permit for a county building. I just don't think that's fair to him.
Well, I totally agree with what you're saying, Sheriff, but this is a problem. We already set precedents by doing this. I got up here and I stated that. When we did this with the Council on Aging, it was a Council on Aging building that was owned by the county, but we charged them, I don't know how many thousands of dollars for a permit process.
I'm not asking you not to pay it,
But I'm not saying.
why can't the county get the check to the building
We did
department
the
rather
same.
than the individual having to pay?
It was the same way the contractor had to cut the check to them, and I don't know why it's set up that way. I think David talked to the building inspector about that, but that's the way it was done at that
Well,
point.
I believe in the contract, it doesn't say anything about the contractor, the contract that he won, that he would pull the permits, but it doesn't say anything in there about him paying the fees.
We wouldn't waive the permits.
We waived it, on the sheriff's office when we done ours.
Yeah, on the sheriff's office.
But, you
So
know,
we didn't do it on the, what's the name?
But, I mean, that's fine, you know, you take it from one pot of money, pay another pot of money, I get it, you know, I mean, it is what it is.
But it all goes back to the county.
He's not a GC contractor, he's not getting $2 million to build his building, he's getting $25,000 to help us out to let inmates and my staff go over there, and he just oversee and make sure it's done right. And if we're asking him to take $2,600 out of his pocket, when he's only gonna make $25,000 on the whole project, I mean, it's kind of slapping the face to me.
And how would we go about a reimbursement from the way this is on it?
I would just need approval to reimburse the contractor, and we can cut him a check.
I'll make that motion.
That motion for reimbursement. How many
I don't know what all the permits that you have to buy. I know there's an electrical permit and a plumbing permit we bought already, which they're not that much. I mean, they're $100, I guess, but this was the biggest amount. And like I said, he's not complaining. He brought it to me. I've been working on it, and I don't think it's fair to him to have to pay that out of his pocket when, you know, we have it in, funds to pay it on the county building.
Yes, sir.
I'm not clear, are we reimbursing the contractor, but the county's paying the permit fee?
Well, if we're gonna waive the fees, because when we go back to Council on Aging, it's still being billed. My idea was to waive the fees, because as a county worker, which is the building department, working on a county building. So my idea was, at that point, you know, waive the fees, but I think David had talked to the building inspector, David, I don't know if you remember this, but when it's something that he thought that legally they couldn't do that because the contractor was the one overseeing it of some sort, you remember that?
Yeah, let me back up. Tim called me today. I talked to the building official. The building official talked to Nate, and he couldn't be here, and I think he told Nate, sat down, if the board directs me to, I'll wait. I can sign the waiver, but, you know, it needs to be board direction. You want to say something?
He did email me a statute. I'm just now reading it, but if the sheriff's willing to work with us and if we do it.
That's what we're paying. The thing about it is, let me ask you this, what would be the harm in waiting to the end, the project, and paying it out of the money that's left over at the end? Why do you have to pay it all up front? So, because at the end of the project, if your shortfall, say all building fees is $5,000, and your shortfall $5,000, where your county's got to come up with the rest of the money to pay that shortfall, right? So why do you have to pay it all up front? Why can't you wait to the end, and when the money's left over, pay the building fees out of it?
I don't have a problem with that. Nate, is everything, kosher with that?
Mr. Chairman, I honestly don't know. Can I? John, can you hear me? John, thank you for the question. I'm sorry, are you feeling okay? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Could we do it with a change order and classify it like a deferment fee? I know we had discussed that.
I'm not involved in this
I
project.
know
I just
you're
think that was just a suggestion to try and have a paper trail for where that money's coming from. You
just do a change order to the contract for permit fees. If that contract paid it, you reimburse it through a pay application. You just approve the change order, and it's all approved. But I don't know how the contract is.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to look at the contract. How about we just table this to the next meeting? I mean, we're giving this money back one way or the other.
We don't want to up anything, though, we wouldn't not want to.
No, it's not, I mean, the permits, it's all the issue. I mean, that's not a problem, I'm just trying to help him get his money back in his pocket.
Yeah, another thing that Sheriff said that is a good point. There's only a certain amount of money there, and I don't want to get to the, use it up, get the very end, and we don't have
I
enough.
mean, you're talking, 2,500, I mean, I don't know how much, I don't know how many permits you gotta pull for everything. So, I mean, just say, well, guess $5,000 for all permit. That's not gonna make or break the project, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if we can't stay within $5,000 in budget, there's something wrong, you know what I'm saying?
But you're talking about just paying it at the end.
Well, I mean, for future projects, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even for council on aging, you know, I mean, if you have a project you're working, you're tight with money, I mean, do you want to really dump a bunch of money in permits in the beginning and not have enough money to finish the project?
Yeah.
But we're still gonna be faced with paying it now or then.
I mean,
You know, he's a small, I mean, I know it's a super great guy, we can, $2,500, $100 a lot of money.
It is when he's already, and it's coming out of his profit, I mean, his money is.
Exactly.
I think we just need to table it so we look at the contract and make sure everything is covered. That's why I think-
And for future too, because, I mean, if we got the, I guess, HVAC, like HVAC's got to have a full permit. So, I mean, he's gonna have to come out of his, you know,
budget that money or the top. Or take it off the end of the project, like you said, and that's what they're running to the council on aging now. They don't know if they're gonna look to finish up, and they paid all these permits up front, that's the county building anyways.
But to that contractor, that's a little different, when he has contingency money.
well, the council on aging is a little bit different than what we got.
Yes.
Council on aging, I think they got $2 or $3 million to build.
Yeah, but they're trying, they don't know if they're gonna make it for that, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I can tell you that we're building a building for $900,000. If they can't build a council on aging building for $2 million.
But like you said, it's a whole different thing though. I mean, you're dealing with engineers, you're dealing with contractors, we're doing it in-house, so.
I've talked to Tim, and we can reimburse the contractor and pay the permit fee with county funds, which would get reimbursed through the government efficiency center. And then any other contractor that needs a permit, they just need to come to give us the request, and we'll cut the check for the permit fee.
And in the future, like if we knew it up front, say the sheriff and I did not know that they was going to first. We didn't know that.
And to be honest with you, he's just a good guy, and he just thinks, he just thinks.
So I got authority to waive on the county bill.
I just wanna make sure they don't have a conflict with the contract, and if everything's good with that, good with it.
But, and like I said, but it's, you know, it happened at the beginning of December, and I'm just trying to.
And it's been a different year when money was collected.
He has it,
The calendar year, not the fiscal year, so we're.
So Tim is saying we can get reimbursed back on the money.
I mean, because you're saying you can't waive the permit fee.
I wouldn't say it that.
well, I'm not asking you to, because I mean, I don't wanna sit here and, you know, wait for me and not for somebody else. I mean, do what you know, across the board, what's fair across the board. Like I said, the money is there, it's not gonna make or break the project, so I mean.
Wilmer, your motion would be to pay it back with the rest of the contingency fee based on the project to be put back in and reimburse the contractor. And do that without future permits on this project. Is that your motion?
Exactly, let's do that.
All right.
Sorry, can you restate the motion?
Motion
Reimburse the contractor.
to reimburse the contractor and pay the remaining fees with county contingency money coming from the program set aside to do the project.
I'll have a motion in second, Wilmer. No,
I got it, I'm sorry, I didn't know which, I couldn't remember. I apologize.
all right. Any more discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll abstain from vote.
Thank you.
All right, we're going down to, the county engineers, Dearhead.
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman. Jenny beat me to all my. Thank you.
All right, Melvin?
Engineer, he did a bunch.
Good evening, Commissioners.
How you doing?
Right. First item is the resolution 2601 for the TA application for the County Road 181 sidewalks. If you recall, I think Mr. Bennett went and met with DOT about getting some more funding, and that resurfacing project was a scrap or a scalp, I can't remember, but it doesn't include sidewalk relocation, and so they recommended going after a TA transportation alternative application. And so this resolution is for that. The application is due January 16th. This is the resolution that's needed for it.
All right,
Right on, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
The part 11 under the ownership and right-of-way status, under number 2, y'all got Jackson County as the owner.
Yeah, we need that changed. That was just a preliminary application. We hadn't finished it yet. I just wanted to get it sent to you guys, get your eyes on it. We got to finalize the cost estimate in the application, but I'm glad you've seen that.
I did too, but I figured if we all talk about it later on, we just call in.
Name's gonna be over there.
When I hear Navy.
all right, is your motion to approve this resolution?
That's just pretty.
All right, here, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Right, thank you for that, Commissioners, thank you. We sure need to be.
Don't waste busy wheels, isn't it?
We opened the bids, I'll get that, sorry.
Thanks, sir.
We opened the bids for the Project Gateway Infrastructure Improvements Project on December the 18th. We had 10 contractors submit bids, and I've got a lot of information here in front of you, but just to kind of summarize, American Sand Asphalt Paving was a low bid contractor, but the next day after the bid, they realized they made a huge mistake and submitted a letter to withdraw their bid. They couldn't hold that bid price. I think it's page 3 in this document. There you guys. The second page summarizes all the bidders there. And so the next low bidder is ECSC. LLC out of Panama City, and their bid amount was $6.395 million, which is about $1.1 million over our budget. And so we put together some options to reduce the scope of work. Went and met with the powers that be at Busy Bee to get their input on it, and what we decided in the meeting is what I'm recommending tonight, that we move forward with reducing the scope of work to get it within the $5.2 million budget. And we have a plan to do that. It's shown here on the bid award options. We have 5 different options to award, and we presented this to Busy Bee to get their thoughts. Their thing is that they didn't want to commit any money to the project at this point. They're politically connected, and we want to reach out to the governor to see if we can get any additional state funding to supplement this to get more of the project built. But as of now, we're recommending to move forward so we can start construction. And the layout here, color sheet, kind of describes what we would be taking out of the project. Scope reduction number 1 in the top right corner would be removing that pond drive roadway that goes up to the north and crosses that pond. we would still do all the drainage under there, extend that box culvert and build the embankment up to the bottom of the base, but eliminate the curb and gutter, the roadway basin pavement. And that would also allow us to delete stormwater pond number 2. And then scope reduction number 2 would be to eliminate the asphalt base, pavement, curb and gutter west of the roundabout. We would still construct the road bed because it requires cutting a big hill. We would go ahead and install all the underground drainage all the way to the end and build a stormwater pond, but just bring it up to the bottom of the base. And then the third scope reduction would be deleting the sewer lift station. The plan is we could go ahead and construct all the water and sewer improvements, and the sewer would just be a dry system. All the manholes and underground sewer would be in place. We would bring it all to a central manhole right outside of the lift station, and it would just remain a dry system until Busy Bee is ready to come and develop. And at that time, the sewer lift station would have to be installed. And so that's what we're recommending to get this project moving forward. I reached out to ECSC on these scope reductions, and they're all good with it, and they can get started next month. Everything in the DOT right away on 79, all the turn lanes, the new signal at Thomas Drive and all that would still remain in the project. You know, hopefully, I've got a good feeling that we might can get some more money, you know, but there's no guarantees, but we have a plan to spend the grant money we have. And so that's what I'm recommending, that the board approve our recommendation of award to ECSC for the amount of $5,270,217.
What's the amount of the free scope reductions?
1.1 million.
Board have any questions?
This recommendation or this approval would have to be contingent upon the state approval from Florida Commerce and CDBG. We would present this to them and get their blessing before we actually sign the notice of award and send it out.
Well, I don't see any other option if you want to continue the project and make
It's
sure
really
the
not.
project happens. And when you're in it that far, already with the grant funding, the state funding we have, I don't see how you can stop the progress. But my concern is when you reach that point, where are you going to get that $1.1 million to continue those different scope work to get them to come and get the projects, get them started. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's, and hopefully the state will have an answer for that too, because you just want a project out there that's never been completed either.
I mean, they got $40 million committed for the building inside.
Yeah.
I mean, another 1.1, they can hurt it.
I make a motion to move forward with your recommendation.
I make a motion on the floor to move forward. Is there a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Okay, last update, on the pilot project at Ponce de Leon, we had a property dispute issue on the water line where it was placed come up, and met with them numerous times, and we had a verbal agreement that we were going to purchase a utility easement from them, and we got the lawyers to draft it up, got it sent out, got the county to sign it, the city to sign it, contractor to sign it, engineer to sign it, sent it to the property owner before Christmas, and they just sat on it, and I kept contacting them, and finally was able to get a meeting with them last Wednesday before New Year's, and they're backtracking now and not wanting to sign the easement. And so I have a gut feeling that they're not going to sign it, and so we're looking at options to get around them and to move the water line or delete a portion of the water line and abandon some in place, reduce the extension. I've been on phone all day long with the pilot, the county, the town, property owners. We're trying to get a meeting set up for this Thursday with all parties there. It's gonna be hard to get everybody there in the same room at one time, but that's the goal. And hopefully hash it out there and either get the easement signed or get direction to move forward with the scope change. And so it's not ideal, to say the least. Pilot is very concerned that it's going to delay their store opening, but we're doing everything we can do, and we've got plans to try to work it out. Just going through it right now.
What any reason he longer didn't sign the?
At first, I thought they would take some more money, but I don't think it's about money. I think he's trying to sell the piece of property, and he's worried that a utility easement attached to it would devalue his property and prevent him from selling it.
There'd be an increase in their infrastructure right there. But, so when you talk about changing the scope of work, what kind of fee are you looking at for that?
Well, I got two options. One option is about $44,000. The other option is about half that. And the cheaper option will reduce the water extension, usable water extension, about 300 feet, which will reduce the fire flow, but the reduction should be minimal, just 300 feet. And I think we can pull together enough underrun money and contingency funds to pay for the $26,000 change. But the $46,000 change is going to be trouble, which Pilot has. I mean, I was on the phone with them today, and whatever they said they could, if they needed the help financially, they could. They just need the water turned on so they can get the store open.
They called me early in the morning.
So rather than 26,000, it's just going. You won't go as far.
Won't go as far. We'll go back west of where their property begins and just cut it off and retie to the existing system right there and kind of abandon it, remove the above ground features that's in front of their buildings and stuff, and just kind of abandon 300 foot of it in place.
So what you're saying, if Doug comes to an agreement with him, he doesn't sign these, but this is going to be the way to go.
Yes, and the contractor said that if we got approval Thursday to move forward with this alternative solution, they can start on a Friday and they can be done by Thursday next week.
So we looking at time. So Thursday at 5 o'clock meeting. Are they going to be there?
Who?
The owners of the property.
Yeah, well, they got to be there. That hasn't been set in stone, that meeting time yet. I think Mr. Johnny Sutton was contacting all parties and trying to get it set up. We really would like if Nate could be there and Michelle, Blankenship, the town's attorney also.
We got Nick set up.
Yeah, he's already set up. I just get on the owners. Johnny didn't really know who was going to be there when I talked to him today.
You talked to John today, okay.
Sheriff, how much property next door? How much property next door does the people own that have the easement? How much land do they have that's the easement?
The easement is like 700 square feet. I mean, it's like 100th of an acre. It's like 14 by 50 foot.
So do you need a motion?
No, I don't need a motion on this.
So you're going to go ahead with the option or the first option if they don't get an agreement?
Yeah. It basically comes down to the town. It's the town blue line.
Yeah.
And so we need to get their blessing on whatever we decide to do.
So that's inside the city limits.
Yeah. And
If they could always look at the option of eminent domain since that's a township. That'd probably be a long process.
Yeah, so they want to start setting people.
If this government just looking at
But we don't need any action on that, I just wanted to give y'all an update on that, and, hopefully we'll get a resolution to it here quick.
All right.
That's all I have, unless y'all have any questions.
Any questions?
We have to pay them for these?
That's all we're finding out.
Any kind of.
Yeah,
Right, get checked, nobody figured out because I've already got in and out.
5 o'clock Thursday?
Yeah, 5 o'clock Thursday.
I'll reach out to them first thing in the morning, see if we can get that nailed down.
All right. To get me, so I got it Thursday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All day how?
We don't have anything to do.
All right. Answer.
The commissioners, you should have in your board package the bid tag for Cookville Road over Light Creek. The bid out December 9th. Low bidder on that was estimated construction, $515,998. And I think the budget, so the average budget was remaining, county item.
Yeah, if it's quick, if it's all right with the board, so let, you give with Brian, and we'll pick some other avenues for this right here, and before we act on this.
How much was it over the budget?
It was about, what, 200?
It's 515.
Yeah.
That's part of that.
Yes.
And we'll just, that'll be all right forward, I'll take it, we're gonna look at some different avenues. All right. Thank you, Brian. All right, we'll go down to the county attorney.
Mr. Chairman, the first thing that I have is the stipend pay policy amendment to the employee policy. I've got a procedures, policy and procedures amendment in front of y'all. Sorry about that. Got an amendment in front of y'all. What I'm asking, as a bird's eye view, what we're doing is increasing the interim manager, supervisor, or foreman, in the event of a foreman's absence, a stipend of $2 an hour increase. It's a very simple change. I've sent it to Ms. Angie. We did make a few adjustments related to the language that I had initially. But what this would do would be amend our employee policy with that stipend effective January 1st of this year. So what I'm asking today is to make it retroactive to January 1st.
Board, have any questions on this? I need a motion.
Yes, sir.
Two, make a motion. Do I hear a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Thank you all. The second item that I had under me was to revisit or discuss the abstention commissioner on Dogwood Lakes. I've got an email that I had sent out that I'm going to just take from and read. And just as just a general discussion, as y'all are aware that the Florida statutes outline voting conflict. I think we've discussed this before, but the law favors voting in absence of a specific exemption. The issue that we've got with Dogwood Lakes and specifically with Flint, the question is there a special pecuniary gain or loss that we derive from a vote around the lake level? The question that we've got is, and again, I'm speaking freely here, but the house that you own is on the lake, and it's in a special nexus on the lake, and you're on a portion of the canal that connects the two lakes. That's an issue from the standpoint of it's a unique property. Now the abstention it's in the hands of the commissioner, but you've asked me to look into it, and I've given you my opinion. Voting conflicts of interest, I've got the Florida Commission, we've got Sunshine Minute and Code of Ethics here. State public officers are prohibited from voting in an official capacity on any measure would inure to their own special private gain or loss. There are exceptions, and I'm sure some of y'all have done your research, learned how to research attorney general's opinions. The issue that I've got, and where I think Dogwood Lakes may want representation is, well, there's an exception. What is a large class, right? Is Dogwood Lakes a large class? Is it large enough where when you voted on it and you sold your house, someone down the road is not going to be disgruntled at you for saying, hey, your vote increased the property value of your home $100,000 and you profited on it. That's my concern for you. It may be now, it may be 10 years from now, it may be after your office. It doesn't cut you off from liability or taking a suit down the road. So we're really taking the abundance of caution approach. The only thing left that I could do that would make everyone feel comfortable, and it was discussed at the last meeting, is approval from the board for me to write a memorandum and send it in to the Ethics Commission in the state of Florida. I've not done that yet. That does take time. Only certain people, no one can just ask for this is not an attorney general opinion, this is an advisory opinion from the Florida Commission on Ethics. You either have to be an employee, a public official, or a county attorney to ask for one of those. So I would need y'all's permission for me to send that, right? Sometimes it does take time. I'm not done that yet. That would be the only other thing that I could do to really put this to rest if you're not comfortable with my opinion. At the end of the day, I'm here to protect y'all. I want what's best for y'all. I do want what's best for the county, but it may not be an issue now, but it's just specific for you, Clint. My concern for you is long term. If you sell, if you might live in Dogwood Lakes the rest of your life, but if you did sell it down the road, we'll just go and send us some file complaint down the road saying you voted on this particular issue, you profited $200,000 on your house. That might be speculative in and of itself, but that's out there. This is a complex issue. It has several layers. Again, I think there's two separate issues. Now that y'all talk about the MSBU, it's the lake level, and that's the issue I'm looking at today for related to Clint. And I don't know if it's considered a large class. I've not seen a number. I know we had testimony that there was 137. How many properties are out there?
Close to 200.
Close to 200. So that's getting on up there. I want there to be as much representation out there as possible. But we do that now that we've got Mr. Ellenberg on board. We got a little more votes here that would definitely help. We were operating pretty thin for the last few meetings. So, at the end of the day, it's open to the commissioner, but they do show difference to their opinion. I want what's best for each one of you up here. I'll protect you the best I can.
We'll have anything on this. I would say, and this is not taking anything away from Nate's opinion, but I think that that's not considered. This is just my idea, is to go ahead and get an attorney general opinion. Let's clear this thing up.
Just the commission on ethics opinion. It's an attorney general opinion. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure.
Commission on ethics.
And you know what? Great if they say you can. I mean, that's a good thing. If they say you can, or they're saying they're not going to give an opinion on it, that's their pleasure. But you've got to craft it in a way that's an answerable issue, an answerable question. And I think the issue we have, we've got maybe three. One, what is considered a large class? Is this considered a large class with the data that I've got? And secondly, is a homestead, is your home, is it speculative in nature to think that by raising the lake level would increase your property value? So we can dial it in with y'all permission. It's just going to take some time.
And will that apply to all MSBU conversations as well?
Hold on, come forward.
Sure. So any future conversations now on Dogwood Lakes in general, if somebody were to come into this office and they have, in the future,
and they live in Dogwood Lakes, is that saying you probably shouldn't get in an office then because now you can no longer vote in that community? That's one of the largest communities in our area. So I guess that's just my question. It really, it's pushing like, well, then they should never live in that area and also run for office.
Sure. I mean, that's a good point. This is not the first time this has happened, I'm sure.
Sure.
I know there was an issue in Bay County, which I think, Clint, you brought to my attention and put it on my radar the first time with Homestead on the Bay. You know,
Right.
and voting on I don't think, obviously you can't raise the level of the Bay, but there was something specific to get a Homestead, and they got slapped on the wrist for it. So,
Sure, no, you're making perfect
but
sense.
I agree with you.
So paving in Dogwood Lakes, can you vote on that?
I would say that would be a bit better from the standpoint of he could. Well, for the reason this house is on the corner lot there, and he owns part of the canal that connects the two lakes. So it's a little bit, it's not
Still going to increase the rate of this house though, property.
Sure.
So again, that's what I'm saying. Where do we draw a line? And I guess that's where I'm asking the question. And this is, I don't think this is at the fault of Mr. Erickson, by the way. What I'm asking is, I think there's such a blurry line that if you don't get a commission on this decision, you're putting all future Dogwood Lakes residents who ever want to better themselves or help better this community, there's no longer representation for them. So that goes for almost every community in our area. So I think without getting this decision, we're putting everybody out to dry.
Sure. And I would say this, I mean, why do they feel like there's no representation?
Well, they want their community to have somebody who's represented. I mean, they go to the direct commissioner. It's the same thing I do. I don't go to every single one of them. I'm going to my commissioner because that's who represents where I live. So it does make sense, and for lack of a better word, he should be able to vote for stuff in his community. I agree with you. It shouldn't be something like if you said, "Hey, the stuff right in front of your home." I understand that, but this isn't the lake level benefits 200 different properties.
Sure, that large class. That's
Right.
And that a large class is an exception.
Right.
To which is again, let's get an opinion, and hopefully he'll be able to vote, and we can put that in the back of your mind, Clint, at ease.
Right.
And we don't have to look over your shoulder for the next 10 years. You know, more if you do so.
We all have the ability to go directly to our commissioners.
Hey, hold on. Richard will say, it doesn't matter where we live, we're all part of a community. We all have an elected official that represents us. We all have the ability to go directly to that commissioner. That commissioner doesn't have to live next door to us in order to be able to go to that commissioner for representation. So the claim of not having representation because somebody doesn't live in that community, sitting on the board, that's kind of muddy in the water just a bit, because if I were to run for office, I'd be in District 5, I don't live in Dogwood Lakes, but I would still represent Dogwood Lakes. And they would be able to call me about issues affecting Dogwood Lakes, just like they can with Mr. Erickson. That part doesn't matter. They still have representation, period. All right, is it the board's pleasure that y'all want to go ahead with this Commission on Ethics opinion?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's pay this hand.
Do you want to go ahead and
We will, we have a commissioner for 10 days. Thank you for looking at
That's
the rest of us.
I'll make the motion.
we have a motion on the floor, your second. Motion is second, any discussion? How about?
Yes.
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 And I will commit to getting this done as quick. I've already got a rough draft prepared just from the email that I sent you, Clint. I think it's a good foundation for us. I have spoken already with Pat Gleason. She was a former Florida advisory attorney, and I think we can get this put to bed, and I appreciate y'all's patience.
They also plan to Mitch.
Yes, sir. That we're going to do. I've got him lined up too. Mitch's is his son. Son. So that is a relative for the Florida statute. What makes Clint's a little bit unique is that he owns the canal. It's right there. But we're going to address both of them when I ask.
All right. All right. Nathan, anything else on that?
No, sir.
All right. All right, we're going down to the Commissioner's item, comp time, overtime for administrative staff.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm kind of hitting on what Mr. Richard Wilson was talking about, what we talked about in the previous meeting, was overtime for our staff, and they do a great job. And thank you, Jane, thank you to all of you for doing everything you do. It's hard sometimes, and one of the things people would say, well, they knew they were going to take the job, they knew this was going to happen, and this time is, you know, they can comp their time off, whatever, whatnot, but the problem is when we get into it, and David can tell you this, a lot of times it's like tonight, and I think this is one of the numerous discussions on, you know, the time, because a lot of times, if you keep it during the day, you don't run into these issues, but it's so much better, beneficial for the public, so they can come after work. I think it's good, I think it needs to stay that way, but however, I do think these ladies and our staff needs to be reimbursed, or they need to get overtime for that work being done. Yes, they do comp time, but the problem is they're forced to take that comp time off during that work week. And sometimes the week ends on Thursday, Wednesday, so you have a meeting on Tuesday. Sometimes they have to be up the next morning and they have to follow up for meetings, and it just kind of puts them in a situation. And David, you probably talked on that. It probably puts the office in a bind also, because then you got two people have to take off during that work week.
Well, it's flexing off, everybody knows what flex time is, and I heard a remark earlier about flexing it off before you do it. We cannot flex somebody if they haven't done their work hours.
Yeah.
So that's a no-no. So what it does, it just shows us one has to take it off one day and one has to take it off the next.
Last year, how much money did you have in their overtime budget?
6,000.
I wouldn't want to make a motion and I'm going to put the 6,000 back in the overtime budget, take it out of board contingencies, so they can get paid for their time being up there, because it's a service to the public.
Let me ask Angie to make sure, because I'm getting older every day. Angie, am I right?
I don't remember.
I think I'm right.
Well, let's start with 6,000, and if something happens, I mean, it's only one meeting a month, so.
I second that motion.
I've got a motion in a second. Any more discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. We'll go down to the surplus of equipment, District 2, Mr. Ellenberg.
Yes, Clint had this on his agenda, and they didn't have the numbers together for auction, to go to auction. They didn't have the numbers together today, and he dropped it. But I was interested in the same thing, but I have some questions about some of the equipment. There's several tractors here that could be let go, and some mowers and cutters and a couple of excavators and stuff. The cutter excavators that could be moved forward to buying a couple of new tractors and some mowers and maybe some cutters. But the one question I really had about was the asphalt reclaimer. I know it's kind of the major item that we have, that I understand in the county, and are we using it enough to keep it, or could we let that item go, sell it to go towards other equipment? I mean, what is y'all's? I'm coming in here, in the middle of this. What is y'all's take on this piece of equipment? Because that's a $500,000 equipment, piece of equipment. Yeah.
It's well worth it. I can tell you, if you'll use it for its intended uses, which nobody does. I mean, you go back and look at all these mill mat roads that the county done and went back and tore it up.
But is it, were we utilizing enough each year to?
Yeah, you could use it every day if they would, if they would.
Wait, what has hurt us more than anything is health on it. It's just like I got 3 more roads to mix up there of the asphalt. I have no truck drivers, both of them is on workers' comp right now. I mean, they're work, but they can't.
I know workforce in this country is a big issue.
Yeah. So this thing, when these roads, they get so bad on them, I mean, it's a lot of help.
Okay.
It is.
I just didn't want to sit there with a $500,000 piece of equipment that we could utilize towards, tractors, mowers, cutters. I mean, it's like, my farm, if I had a piece of equipment I wasn't using, I was planning on planting this crop next year, but I had that piece of equipment sitting there ready for it. If I did, just not utilized, so just not taking loads. That's what I wanted to know, is what y'all's opinion was on it. If it was worthy of it, keeping it.
You know, well, and I'll go back, and the reason why I did take that proposal off, because I was waiting on Andy to come back with the numbers. So those equipment you're looking at, we got 3 or 4 mow trims or Alamos machines on it. And most of them are all broke, a lot of them are broke, you know, and the tractors are in good shape. So my idea was to take 2 or 3 of those tractors, which, you know, we're in bad shape for mowers right now. Is take the Alamo mow trims off of them, throw them away, auction them off, and get whatever you can out of them. Just the lifts and the and the PTOs on the back of them are in good shape. Turn them into mowing tractors, because that's what we have now. Utilize that, sell that equipment on that. The 2 Komatsus, which you're talking about, both of them got to be rebuilt. I mean, they're looking at $10,000 for those tracks to be rebuilt on both those machines. So sell those 2, sell those other 2. And my other option was looking at that cutter. I mean, looking at the mixer, because the mixer had 5. We've had it several years now. It's got 500 hours on it, and it's 387, and it's not even being utilized. And one of the things that my proposal is to take all that, sell it, and hopefully have around 600,000-700,000. But what Andy were estimating. You can get a cutter for 300,000 each, those new cutters, and you would be able to put one on each side of the river and accomplish, I think, everything you needed to accomplish, and have brand new equipment. That was my proposal, but I didn't have the numbers, and that's kind of what I was looking at.
And that's what he,
yeah.
I called him that, and I was telling us what he said, down together. I said, well, I wanted some information on it.
And I understand where they're coming from, because out of that 387 hours, we probably used 180 of it in District 5, because we have used that thing on these mill roads. But the problem I'm getting into, and maybe we're going to talk a little bit about this, the problem with the milling, after you mill it so many times, I can't really mill it. I mean, I can't take that miller and mill that road up anymore. It's just dust. So we're doing more with the grader now than we are with that milling machine. And that's what I'm running into, because we initially bought that for all the female stuff that we was getting done with the millage, and now we're not milling roads. But it's like Earl said, the chairman said, there's a lot of other uses that can be used for washboard roads, make some clay, make them harder base and all that. You just don't have the people to do it.
Yeah, if you get somebody in the city.
Yeah, just don't have the people to do it.
But these roads, if we don't get something in there to keep them trimmed back, it's going to be.
That's my concern.
That's
my concern. And that's why I was looking at that. Yeah. And when I got the numbers,
it don't take long for it to be 2 or 3 foot out the right of us.
Yeah. And that little Tomaso, we're using it every day just to get stuff cut back. I mean, it's just that thing about wore out.
Andy was telling me that the track machines are pretty slow. They're not.
They are. They're really slow.
Yeah.
So that's why I said we sacrificed getting rid of the 2 track machines, getting rid of all the Alamos and motions that were attached. So a couple of those old tractors, and those other 2 machines. I don't know if you saw the video on those other machines.
No, he told me to come by.
Wow, they're really soft.
They're called Moore Max. They're freestanding rubber tires you can carry back and forth without.
So they do it. They can get around.
You don't have to load it up. You just drive with it. So, you just cut it. So.
And then there's 40 on the price.
That's over $300,000 a piece.
Well, them things take a beating.
Yeah, that is. And what a lot of people don't understand is we got 700 miles of dirt road in the county. When you take that double, then that's 1,400 miles of trimming that you got to
get around and time to go back.
So you would have to have 2 guys on both those machines running all the time.
Anything else on that, Mr. Edwards?
No, that's what I want to know, what y'all's thoughts was on the reclaim.
All right, we're going down to the county dirt residents. Mr. Edwards, you have that too?
Yes, been doing some research on that, the county policy, the state policy, the Attorney General's policy, and what I'm understanding, we're only supposed, the residents can have 2 loads of dirt a year, is that correct?
Yep.
That's what I've read. But has to be ditch dirt or second dirt, anything with not any monetary value,
yep.
That's correct? Well, I'm not going back to the past, but when we move forward with this, have issues with good dirt being put here and there, and I get complaints since I've been in my district about dirt that's been here and there. Like I say, we're not going back, we're moving forward. Is there any kind of policy that if a employee or a foreman or commissioner or anybody instructed or told, is there any kind of policy that they get slapped on the hand or any kind of procedure or anything? 'Cause it's just not fair for some people to be going about trying to go by policy and some not. And I said, I'm not calling anybody out or anything, just trying to move forward. We don't need the county to get any more issues or trouble or anything. And off the right of way as well, you just don't need 50 feet off the right of way to dump the dirt. Is that correct? Yeah. So is there any kind of policy that the county has for if anybody violates this policy and gets county trouble, or, I mean, what's the
Well, I think.
or should we set some, or should we have, maybe look in for some guidelines?
Probably, we just need to, David, to have a meeting when you have your meetings with the,
We didn't hear it.
I think the time would be is for David to bring that up at the meetings. You know, inform.
Like I say, I don't care, I want the people to have the dirt, and I'd rather them have the better dirt, but if it's, we're breaking policy, state, and our county policy, and the attorney general's, take on it, I mean, just don't want to see us get no issues with it. Everybody be on the same playing field, and everybody getting equal dirt, and get what they're supposed to get, and move forward.
And I think that'd be a good thing for David to bring up. That's kind of information.
What do you got, that?
That 2 loads, my tank only had 2 loads per person, is absolutely the worst thing you could ever put in there. Everybody thinks they get 2 loads of dirt.
Well, it also says in there, if it's not available, if you hadn't dug ditches or cleaned out ditches, you've been in a dry street or whatever, and it's not available, they can't get it. I mean, they may make a complaint, but if you don't have it available in surplus or digging a ditch, it's not available.
It's hard to get dirt, it's not
Yeah.
I promise
Yeah,
you.
it is. It's, I mean, that's a fine line there, but we gotta go by the regulations.
It is.
So in 2016, when I was elected in office, the dirt hauling right prior to that, it just went away. Yeah, and the county attorney at that time was Joe Gibbon. And I sat down with him and we looked at, you got all the laws here, the state attorney general opinion, and we looked at that. And we took one part of that where it said that you can use spoiled dirt, if you give it away at no cost, you can give it away. So when we designed a policy, and I'm just telling you what I think what's happened over time, was here we are digging a ditch, there's an address within the area of that ditch, and they can dump it in that driveway. It costs the taxpayers no money at that point. But, and that's what it was designed for. But over time, like I said, this was 2016, over time, I think the perception is, we're entitled to 2 loads of dirt per year for free. Well, now, as time went on, and you can see there's a lot more people moving and living on dirt roads now than there ever used to. Well, now you're getting everything in the ditch beside dirt. I mean, you got glass bottles.
Oh, yeah.
And we have ran into situations here in the past year I have that, someone called me and said, what did you bring me this for? I can't make nothing out of this. This is pure trash in here. And then we're back there trying to look at that. So when this was intended and what it was intended for, it was intended for a good purpose. But the perception as time went on was like, we get 2 free loads of dirt. Everyone gets 2 free loads of dirt. And I'll admit, I think it's kind of just gotten out of proportion because there's been some people that's had 4 or 5 houses. They each got an address. Well, they're getting 2 loads of dirt at this one particular place for all their addresses because the policy was 2 loads of dirt per address. They're trying to suck up the double up, what they can. Because they were entitled to it according to the policy. But what happened is we're not moving dirt like 1% out of the ditches as fast as we are. So it's just about impossible to keep up to it. And I think it was your district, or was it your district? You were like 200 loads behind at one time.
If it's drought, there's no need to get rid of it. You can use it. I mean, I want to help somebody back to the next guy, but I'm not going to jail.
Well, and that's the same thing too, and then you take off the highway. Some people want you to carry it over the backside, back 40 in the barn, or we can't, you get over and tear the barn down or have some issues, if the county's liable.
Well, I suppose it's going to get one of our employees one day for sure.
Well, it goes back to those road foremen, and those road foremen have to enact that policy and go by those rules and regulations. That's their responsibility.
That's why I need to get some birds in here if they got a big county.
And I'm going to say this, David, I think a lot of them, in the way we rotate road foremen out people, I don't think they quite understand the policy either to their defense.
Well, it needs to be explained to them thoroughly.
And it wouldn't hurt for us to post that policy on Facebook.
Yeah, and the secretary needs to, if they call them and, tell them this will be discharged and it'll be, when we get it.
Yeah, if it's available, we'll get it. We don't have to wait till we get some. That's gonna make some people mad, but either way, it's gonna be mad.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right. Let's get out the center line striping, County Road 169, 8.4 miles, Mr. Tapp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir, as we know, the previous talked about, it's gonna be 2030 before we get into construction. We got 8.4 miles from File Drive to our number line, it's just about no lines.
I've had about 20 phone calls on that road.
Yeah, I did too.
I tell them to call you, so I don't.
I do the same thing up there.
I don't blame them for calling.
Well, I got two more on the other side of the same issue, I'm getting handed over.
They literally can't see the side they dig.
That's why I
But, yeah, I go up and got over with, went to Walton County, got up with the public work director, he hooked me up with the paint foreman, and the paint foreman rode that whole road. He went back, put me a price for $5,000, let's be center line. So I'd like to make a motion with this, and then I get into the next part. I'd like to make a motion that we, move that money from the local office gas tax, $5,000 to pay for this, but once we approve it, Mr. Corbin in return to send that request back to Walton County, then it'll get put on their board to send it. So even though we approved it,
Next year, you gotta approve
we're in
it.
that interlocal that we got,
The county needs to write me an interlocal agreement.
so, no, we done got an agreement in place, we just, all you got to do is send a request to Buddy Wright, and Buddy will put it on their agenda for approval. And if they approve it, he'll come over and pay it, and we'll give you $5,000. But that's, we already got third cheap.
Yeah, the structure. Oh, you want to stay there?
Yeah, this is the big third cheap.
Say that motion.
To motion to pull $5,000 from the local gas tax. They pay for the center line traffic on 179, File Drive, out of the line.
You're not gonna do the side, you're gonna do the center.
It's so high, man, if you get it solid on the side, you can get it.
So this ain't solid, ain't going?
It's gonna be as is.
Okay.
So that'll be a big help if we start spraying it solid on that grass.
Well, that'll be the next one, right?
It will.
At least we'll have a start.
At least we'll have to start in the center, because right now, they'll get that done good.
Yes, all right, we have a motion on the floor, do you hear a second? I have a motion and a second, any discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
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 We don't need to send it, so he needs to ignore it.
Yes.
Resolution, whatever it is.
Just
A request.
All right, you want to go on down to approval?
Yes, sir. This was actually put on here before we got a new commissioner, but I just wanted to make sure it was, that our county coordinator had the authority to hire a off-duty officer on the holidays and vacations. That's just, and he probably would not have been to get there till about 12, and then 12 days or whatever. I mean, if we could do that, if we could work with the sheriff
Yeah, I told
here in the
her,
summer months.
She said we need to run about 8-hour shifts.
I don't really go there much anymore, so I mean, I don't know what time people get there. I think it's pretty early.
And do they? I don't know either, because I'm not in there.
Everything before them bring home, I'll have to play by ear.
I can get the big try.
He needs the signs when you're ready to go and check it out.
He does, but, if you put in on this, because I'd actually had this up there before he was, come aboard, so. But if we don't get a MEO down there on these holidays,
Yeah, it's right.
it will.
Are we gonna do one person or two personnel down there?
Next we'll go over.
I don't think we got but about 4 holidays here.
I just didn't know if it was safety
Well,
or.
What I see and get reports right now back on it, the biggest issue is gonna be people going in without permits. or not sticking their permits where they're supposed to be.
Do we have the ordinance in place for Lake Cassidy as far as if they don't have a permit, what we're gonna do if we find them not have a permit?
We talked about it.
Yeah.
We talked about charging, you know, I think there's a charge for them to come get the permit, to get the permit on so much.
Yeah, they brought it back.
Yeah.
And it's a step up, I think, it increases every violation or something.
Yeah, by double.
But
Did you put it in there, Nate?
It was, I didn't do a separate policy, we implemented with our park,
Okay.
1901 or 1902 was the policy.
Yeah, but the county,
Jake, you looked at
the
it.
county park ordinance does not have a permit. You don't have to have a permit to go to county park.
It was just as a district sitting before.
But it's already been passed, it's in effect.
Did we vote on
I
it or
don't
not?
remember now. I had to go back and look at the minutes. I know I prepared one with,
you get the paper, I know you told me Jake did.
yeah, Jake looked at it.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it is, you know, we probably can deal with it on the Florida statute trespassing way. Basically, if they don't have a permit, ask them to leave, and refuse to leave, they'll be trespassing. But, as far as the deputy goes, you know, we contract with the state park during the summer for, we call it 181, the traffic and stuff. They pay us $30 an hour. That's what they pay a deputy, 2 deputies out there to man that. I tell you that sometimes I get people to work $35 an hour, sometimes I can't. That's sad to say. I mean, back in the old days, we killed $30 an hour. But the young guys, sometimes they don't want to work. If it's their day off, they don't want to come out. But we'll do our best to try to cover it. What you're going to find out, I think, is it'll be all right for the holidays, but weekends is still going to be a nightmare. I mean, because they're not going to quit coming in there just because it's not a holiday. And what you're going to have is people's going to call, people's going to get down there, and they're going to see somebody down there without a sticker on their car. They're going to call dispatch, say, hey, you got so-and-so down here without a sticker on their car. They're going to want a deputy to respond. Well, I don't have a problem responding, but we answered almost 20,000 calls this year. We got other things to do than police Lake Cassidy. But, I mean, we'll do the best we can. And then if y'all want to start it off with the holidays, that's fine. I think what the PDO Springs does, they run from Memorial Day or Labor Day to Memorial Day is what they run on weekend.
Can I ask you something? And I'm just throwing this out there, I don't know. If you talking $35 an hour, and like you said, you might get into more weekends than just the holiday weekends. Wouldn't it be more beneficial, since it's a county park and not a state park, that we go ahead and fund another deputy, full-time position deputy? Because it wouldn't take long to wrap up that kind of money, $35 an hour, especially if you can start popping every weekend.
Could, I mean, but I tell you what deputy costs.
Yeah, I know, 50.
Well, just the salary is
Yeah.
$77,000, plus you got about $10,000 to $12,000 insurance. You're talking about almost $90,000.
When you're talking $35 an hour, that's gonna add up too.
Well, something I might want to look at is private security.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Wack and Hut and people who do the rest area stuff.
They're gonna reduce it higher.
I don't know what they charge, but listen, I'll tell you, I love to do it for 25, but when you got PDL Springs gonna pay 35 and Lake Cassidy gonna pay 25, who you think is gonna, what detail they gonna?
And my question was, can one deputy do it? That's my.
We'll try it, but I mean, I don't like the idea because you're down there in a hole and
Yeah.
the nearest backup is a pretty good ways away, but
That's,
Yeah, exactly.
we'll try it.
I mean, it'd be good if they could just do it every couple of hours or so, go in, check it.
All we can do
Can't
is,
get it in.
all we can do is try and see how it goes and adjust from there. I mean, I can't look at a crystal ball and tell you how it's gonna go. I tell you, it's probably gonna be chaos.
I just know $35 an hour times 2, you know, and I think it's more than just holiday weekends, it's gonna add up.
I haven't actually been over there. I mean, I know we lock the gate at night and stuff, but
It's unlocking every morning, locking every evening.
Well, we're locking it, they got somebody that's unlocking it, so.
Yeah, y'all got keys, just let the gatekeeper.
Are your state, out of state versus in state, are they two different decals?
They are.
They look different?
Yes.
I come in and they numbered on the lake field, I was kind of inherited something too now.
Yeah.
But moving forward, what is the take on this? Are we doing this as a trial run of the permits? We're selling this to get to see how it goes for a year, if it's feasible or not feasible? I mean, what's our long-term option?
Very good question.
Well, the money he's talking about and the money that we got in it, he's talking about, it's gonna keep rolling.
And I haven't reached out alone, but I know they put off doing more in the spring, one or two during the summer down there. I don't know what they charge, I'm sure it's probably more than $100. But somebody county's got bucket full of money versus I can't even get paid $150.
I can tell you this, we sold approximately pretty close to 100 residents and 3 or 4 out of state. They 500 blue.
So you talking 6,000?
It's not enough for a deputy.
No, that's not enough.
I'm not tired of the car.
So Sheriff, I know it's me and you talked one time about getting into a mutual aid or interlocal with Walton. Do you think that would still work where they could help just patrol it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. There's quite several of them that live around Blue Pond and around the lake. The problem is, everybody knows, Lake Cassidy, nobody wants to deal with a bunch of drunks.
Exactly. And that's what
So,
we hope to change.
so if you're working in a county where you can or you cannot go to a place where a bunch of drunks are, well, you're gonna do your best to stay away from there, right?
Exactly.
And that's what you deal with the deputies. Deputies get tired of dealing with the drunk, because they all want to film you, they all want to do that, and nobody wants to deal with that.
And I think if we make a good showing to start with, I think we'll get it back family oriented, maybe, hopefully, our goal. That's why I want to see it back where it was when I was coming up.
The good thing about all, with the deputy being there, he can kind of control what goes on as far as the drink part, but he can't drink in county cars. But when the deputy's not there, it's one of them things you can't be there 24/7.
That's when something bad's gonna happen, you know that.
And you have something.
Yes, if you do this, the board's gonna need to fund more money in the parks department, because it's kind of bare bones, so we don't have the money for this right now.
I mean, if we did it, I'd go do that to pass money.
Yeah. Nate, did you have something to say?
Ms. Andrew, you done? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wade, I know you just mentioned you inherited this. I think a lot of y'all inherited this. I just want to refresh everyone, remember how we got here, and won't take but a second, but I know y'all taking a lot of heat for what happened and how we received it, but just want to refresh everyone's memory. This was 8 years of litigation that predated most of the board. How we got there was a problem, but how we ended. If y'all remember, our Brumberg and Kirk, the attorneys that worked with us over the course of that year period, came and spoke to the board. It was a result of mediation. It was on the back end. The county did not, how you want to word it, they did not buy land for that. That was the mediated. That was to get out of a lawsuit. They did not pay $300,000 for that property. I don't know the exact amount we had to give with Miss Angie, but the insurance covered a good bit of what we had left. But our attorneys recommended that y'all take this deal because y'all could wind up owing up to $1.2, $1.3 million if you lost. There were two issues. You won the road down to it. We did not win the Butler part. Now, how we got there, yes, that could be argued. It was not appropriate, but the issue was it was a forced. It was not a true sale. That's not the fair market value. Probably don't know what it would be worth now. Should you sell it? I don't know. Should you give it to the state? I don't know. But how we got there was our attorneys recommended, listen, y'all won the road, but there's a very good chance that y'all will not win the vote round. And if you lose, you could be liable for up to I think it was $1.2 million.
In my round, we had 14 hours of mediation, no breaks.
Well, that was just, I mean, that was after 8 years of litigation.
14 hours.
And that was going to a jury trial?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not just a judge?
Yes, sir. I know it's on the other side of the county. I know it was the contentious issue for y'all, but I just wanted to beat that drum.
And it's a beautiful lake. I mean, it's a beautiful lake. It should be accessible to the people of Holmes, Walton counties, and North Florida. It shouldn't be cut off. You know, we shouldn't be accessible to them.
And we were also running out of insurance funding, and our insurance carrier said, y'all are going to take this deal. And our attorney, and if y'all, it's on public record, go back and listen. They said, y'all better take this. They were expecting us to come in when we mediated to be at $1 million. They came in at a very low number that was saying they worked it down to 300,000, and insurance covered a good bit of it. We could pull up public records, especially with actual dollar amount that we came out of pocket for. But it was at the direction of our insurance company and our attorneys.
If we had to let go, we would be well secured. Looks like.
No one would really knew. I mean, we just went to the jury.
No, I'm saying, if we had to let go of the property now, if it turns the county upside down, we can just, get our money back.
I'll tell you this, I mean, I read up on that lake just like everybody else, but I knew when to go and when not to go. I mean,
You know, we can change it.
and that's, everybody who goes over knows when to go, when to rest there, when not to go. But I will promise you this, I'll do my very best to try to help and do work with y'all, try to maintain order over there and try to keep everything going. I don't promise you anything because I don't know what the future holds, and I can't post somebody over there 24/7 like we'd like. And I think y'all understand that, realize that, and I think everybody does. If that was the case, we'd have one at every county park every day. But we respond to problems at the county parks and we deal with it when we get there. If y'all want somebody there on the holidays or major holidays, we'll try to fill somebody and put somebody there. And if it works out, fine. If it doesn't, we'll change it. I mean, all you can do is try. And that's all I'm willing to do is try our best to help do our part and try to make it work.
Will you get me your people to figure out the hours so I get that board and 35 hours?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably start at mid-morning because, people pile in there before dinner. And if you get there at 12 o'clock, you're probably not going to make it down there. I mean,
work out a proposal.
Is it contracted payment or it runs through your payroll?
No, it's contract. It's $35 an hour with 99 hour employees at the end of the year. And that's all I have to pay retirement or benefit.
And you really need some money in there to do that.
Thank you, John.
So next, I know when I come on, when I do office, I think that was one of my first board meetings. So now explain to me one more time, the $319,000 that we had, which I was told it was budgeted from 2018.
Yes.
So is that is the insurance money?
No, sir. Our insurance, we cover a portion. We did not, again, Angie, please, Sam, y'all correct me, but we did not struck a check for the full amount. The insurance covered a portion of what was left from that year.
See, you had attorney fees too, that went on and on.
You got about $500,000 in there with $300,000. So it was, also they were pleading their attorney's fees, that grant, and punitive damage, and inventory damage, was total of 1.2 without their attorney's fees. And Judge Roberts, I mean, it was going to trial. He issued a summary judgment on the road we wanted, but the vote round and the lease, that was the whole dispute back 8 years ago, and how that can happen, that's the issue. But,
mediation went 14 hours. I know. How many hours of mediation was it?
Nate, do you think we could get water management or somebody on board to come in and work with us on this project, maybe get more, since we got this, we can add a little more to it, get something.
Well,
Work with it.
we entered a settlement agreement with the plaintiffs and counter defendants. Obviously, you can revisit that, but if that's a torch you want to pick up and run with, just we can go down that road. There were some stipulations in the settlement agreement that we also signed to be able to get it down for them to drop the lawsuit.
Yeah.
They were going to say.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Is there's could be options to
Yes, sir.
get some state money involved.
I know it's obviously a burden to the county, but there's also a lot of people up there who are, we've had countless meetings,
Yeah.
workshops,
Yeah.
they ought to get, at least get a little bit of
I
income.
definitely give it a chance, but I just don't want to drag it down the way. Yeah.
That's me, I put 110% into it. If it fails, it's not well pure knowledge, it fails or not.
But you don't have a lot more community involved. Like, a lot of them know what's at stake.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, if y'all approve me hiring, y'all heard what the sheriff said, we don't need to bring anybody.
So by the time you get to that point, you're gonna probably have some more sales.
Yeah, and just use
I wouldn't rush you, that's it, I'd wait to see.
Wait till none of that, then could be.
Yeah. That's the ones up.
Yes, sir.
Right now, you need to make a motion to bring that, the DPI money onto the budget. Not in the budget.
But we definitely need to take that money and put it towards that lake, because you got porta potties, you got trash service, you're gonna have a money picked up a day extra trash.
They're gonna throw you $8,000 right there.
So, as long as it's put to use towards that lake, I'm happy with it.
Y'all make a motion to that?
Yes, well, I'll make the motion, let's pull that money from the past revenues we get in. If we need it, we may not have, he may not have to hire nobody, what the sheriff said, I mean, it's trial and error, but if he does have to send somebody down there, let's take that to the past revenues.
I'll have a motion on the floor, to hear a second.
Where we're putting it, I didn't understand where we're putting it. We're putting it parking and rec, is that where we're putting it?
Yes, sir, that's where we're running.
Okay.
That's where Lake Cassie is.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? How's the vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, we'll go on down to the easement. Commissioner Stafford on, Smith Chapel.
Yes, Mr. Ward, he's got 2,050 foot on Smith Chapel. And what this is gonna consist of, Mr. Chairman, is if we had cleared that easement, he would give it to us. He'd sign it over and he could put his fence up. Smith Chapel is actually a connector road from 177 Main to 179. We'd be foolish not to take that. He's gonna put the fence up, that's a winning deal for us. And one day we're gonna wanna pave that connector through there.
You want to put that in form of motion?
And yes, yep. He's also got Grover Lewis set up. Grover Lewis is kind of intermediate between Ropin Road and then it intersects back into Smith Chapel. If it got on the paving list, it would be probably not in our lifetime, but he's got 1,050 foot of that that he's willing to give us if we're clear.
So what are we making out of it?
But one day we're gonna put in for a scalp or something, put a paved road, because you've got all the environmental issues to be done up to pavement. All the fields and that water pouring out.
We're just taking raw land basically and gonna pave it.
Now, it's just actually, right now where you fighting right away out here on Bonifay Creek, you go ahead and get this ahead of time, and you won't be fighting this.
Okay, this is right away then.
Yeah, one day we're
Okay, I
gonna,
didn't realize.
one day
it
we're
was right
gonna
away.
pave this road.
And we gotta clear it.
Yeah, we got to clear it, whatever he's giving us, we need 60 foot, put a road in. So,
How far are they gonna put
and I
it
really
in?
don't know what,
Right away.
and he's gonna put his fence on the right of way, but until we get out and lay it down and survey it,
It's gotta be surveyed.
but it's just a thought if the board wants to pursue this.
Does that be the whole road though?
That road's probably about 2.5 miles.
No, it's long,
So
we've already done parts of
Yes,
it.
he told me that he had already given.
Yeah, we've already done parts of it and widened that road in a lot of areas in there.
So, it's just a chance for the board, and it may not be none of our turn, but one day the board's gonna pave that road and they already got the right of
2,000
way.
feet, whatever it is a lot of land.
So if y'all want me to put it, if y'all want to entertain doing Grover Lewis, there's 1,050 foot he'll give us there. But then again, it's gotta be cleared. It could be 10 foot, it could be 20 foot. I don't really know. We're out of surveying and looking.
And get an estimate on the first for us.
It's, I mean, we can clear it, it's no problem, but it's whatever the board thinks. I'm just telling you right away, stuff.
Yeah, you better get the right of way where you can.
If you ever wanna pave it, you better jump on it. If the future boards, I'm telling you, one of these days you're gonna wanna pave it. There's just too many environmental issues there not to.
Can I ask?
But the only thing, the issue is he gives us a right of way and then he puts his fence way back over on us and then we.
No, it'll get back on him.
It'll be back on him. He's done that two or three
Yeah,
times. He puts the
yeah,
fence back.
just make sure that don't happen.
With this actually,
Can
big
I
five
ask
is
Nate
bird,
what we
no
gotta
matter
have?
what.
Nate, what do we gotta have? Yeah.
We need a description.
We need a survey of some sort.
Yeah, so it has to be surveyed, I thought about that.
Yeah, you're gonna get a survey on that. You can't just, because you have to have a boundary line to put that fence on.
Exactly.
There you go, more money on that.
But if you get it, you put it in the county's name, then you got it. Like, you won't be fighting with what you dealing with on Bonifay Creek. Work Cliff went out there, what, 5 years ago and got it?
We was told we had it.
Yeah, once you had it,
It's just an easement, would he be willing to deed the property?
it would, yes, sir.
Yeah, he'll need the property.
Not an easement then?
Like, you deed it to it, right?
Yeah, he's.
So it wouldn't be an easement, just been a deed?
Yep.
And we gotta clear it and return.
Mm-hmm.
How many more tractors is that gonna work?
Excavated.
I mean, y'all just talked about the tractors will go out, which I'm gonna do.
Hey, David, come forward.
That's all I got to say, Kevin, I'm sorry, but I'm serious, you know. So we talked about
So,
that.
we don't got it there, you already got it excavated.
Yeah, we don't gotta do it.
Yeah.
So, but this is whatever the board wants to do. Y'all, this is,
I'd be honest with you, I'd like to look at it before I was saying it. I mean, I'm being honest.
and I don't blame you one bit.
Because I don't know, I mean, I know about where it's at, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to, we'll just take this up next.
That's really
Table
All righty, we'll go down to, Wade, you had, 2 roads on the list.
Yeah, 179A
And 163.
and 163 from Highway 2 to the state line to get center striping like we were talking about. I looked at the outside edges of the white stripe. The road's not in good enough shape to really put white lines over there. You'd be more of it on the grass probably than you would on the road. So let's just try to get a base line on the center. And you can't, at night, you can't see nothing on the road. I mean, it's just black. And I got a lot of elderly people complaining.
How many feet?
There's 2.9 miles on 179A and 3.4 on 163, so it's not quite, it's about the same mileage as he's got on 2 roads. And it's adjacent, it's 170, you know, he's got 179, 179A, and then 163, so it's all 3 of the 3
So
roads.
you would, you said $5,000.
Well, what I gotta do so everybody understands, and I've done call Walton County, the paint man is out of town. He'll have to come ride it with Mr. Ellenberg and his superintendent, and then he'll give me a price.
And then we'll bring it back.
Well, you already got a price, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, but.
I worked on this about 6 weeks.
Yeah, this might be a little different when you get it.
Right,
It ain't a quick thing, they have to send their person, because their paint truck is not that big.
It's probably been 6 weeks ago
And
since
it
I
takes,
rode with
because it has to go in front of
I had it ready actually for the
Well,
last board.
I guess what I'm saying, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just go ahead and add that same amount, that way you can present all this to their board at the same time.
Walk through both the roads.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't wanna hold his project up there as well. I mean, whatever y'all think, I mean, I don't wanna hold his up since he already had it ahead
No,
of
I
me.
mean, I wouldn't hate to go back to them
Yeah.
once or twice, I might as well just do it all one time if we're gonna do it.
But I'm like, I don't wanna miss his project.
You wouldn't do that?
I would.
Oh.
I wouldn't bombard them.
No.
They are busy.
Oh.
Take it
So,
easy.
Let's just go ahead and get his out of the way and then we'll be working
Yeah,
on
then
it.
Really, they doing a mutual aid for us, they don't have to do it.
Yeah, let's just give him a little time there and get this out of the way. We'll be working on
All right, if there's nothing else on that, do you hear a motion to approve?
Go enjoy your birthday, please.